Hey, and welcome. We are two moms, two businesswomen, and two friends just trying to keep all the balls in the air without losing our minds.
From school pickups to potty training, messy kitchens, and major wins, we're bringing you real talk on motherhood, entrepreneurship, and all the things we love in between.
So, whether you're folding laundry, driving to work, or sneaking in some you time,
grab your coffee and join us for laughs, lessons, and a whole lot of chaos.
This is the Mother Overload, where real life meets real talk. We are Desi and Krystal. Let's dive in.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Mother Overload podcast. I am Krystal, and this is Desi.
Hi.
And I am so excited for today's. It's kind of a subject where, it's not like a super happy one to be excited about, but I just feel like it's something that absolutely needs to be talked about. And that is just feeling guilt in motherhood. And I feel like everyone can relate to that. I feel like it's something that we all feel. Some feel it more than others, for sure. I did ask my bestie, ChatGPT, to give me like the top 10 things that we as women and mothers feel the most guilt around. And I feel like she nailed it because she usually does. So I'm just going to read those off quickly and then we can kind of dive in what relates or resonates with us the most. Do you think that's good?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so the first one is not spending enough time with their kids, guilt around screen time, guilt around feeding choices, guilt around losing patience. Hi, it's me. Guilt around that work-life balance, uh, guilt about like not finding enough time for self-care, missing milestones, relying on help. I think this is a big one that people feel guilty about, especially working moms. Household expectations, parenting decisions, and then, that guilt around not enjoying every moment.
Every single one of those things that you said, I was like, oh God. Like,
Right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Right? Okay. So I feel like, okay, what one do you want to start with? You go with what resonated with you the most.
For me, like I think everything, honestly. So even if we went through one by one would work, but the one that stood out right away was the food choices.
Mm.
And I know we talked about this in a previous episode. We were discussing like what they eat when they're little versus what we try to get them to like learn to like when they're little versus what they actually eat as they get older. And like once you hit those hormonal preteen and teenage years, it's a lot of like Mr. Noodles and Kraft Dinner, and they eat so much that you can't keep up that they're cooking their own meals, and you're like, whatever you can cook to eat, I'm good with. And we try to like make sure that they still have, fresh fruit during the day, healthier options to pick from. They don't pick them most of the time, but the option is there. And yeah, I feel like the food thing for me was the hardest for sure. And we used to do like the Flintstone vitamins, and now I kind of as an adult, like a older mom, I feel like were those actually good? Like, are those good for kids?
I mean, probably not. It's probably not. That's a whole other episode, I feel like. Yeah, I feel like the feeding is for sure like a big one. And I think you're right. Like right now, like obviously, like my little one only eats, what I give him. Do we stop for something quick every now and again?
Oh,
yeah, we do. And like the guilt, I think with that is going to, I mean, I feel like that's one that's easily let go of because it's like, it is what it is. They have to eat. What's here is what they're getting. And I feel like it's something easily changed. Like, obviously, if you don't want them to eat junk food, then don't bring it into the house. Then they're not eating it as much, right? So I think that the guilt on that can be let go like fairly easily.
Are you that mom that packs a picnic to go out though? Like I will go out with friends, and my girlfriends will bring like fresh fruit and yogurt and cheese snacks and all these wonderfully and juice and water, like normal everyday, like the brain processed this before you left the house that they're going to be hungry and you brought good choices. I don't do that. And my kids are like, can I have a sip of your water?
Right. Right. I definitely think that I am, but he's also like snacks are life right now.
Right.
So like if we leave the house without a snack, like I know it's just going to be a fight because
Right.
I'm hungry, I'm hungry. So I think it's different too. Like you can say to your kids like, "Hey, we're going to wait till we get home."
Mm,
Or, if you didn't bring your water, then,
that's on you. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Famous words.
So
Yeah.
now it's like I have to kind of be that person who brings those things. So,
Right.
okay. Okay, let's talk about one of the ones that I think for an entrepreneur hits like the absolute hardest, and that is trying to figure out that work life balance, right? And when I asked that question on my Instagram the other day about just like what's the hardest thing in motherhood, this came up a few times. And one person said, like, it's hard to give 100% to my kids and 100% to my job. And I was like, oh, yeah, like that hurts. I mean, for me as an entrepreneur, I'm so used to giving 100% to my job, right? And then my son came into the picture and I was like, okay, well, like, now what do I do? Because I don't have a job where I'm leaving my 9 to 5 and leaving my work at work. I'm never doing that. I'm bringing my work home. I'm bringing my work to bed. It's on my
Yeah.
phone constantly. It's there all the time, and my work is constantly on my mind. So I found that really hit hard. And like when I think we've talked about this before a little bit, but like when I first had my son, like I went back to work right away. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're talking like I did a newborn session 4 weeks after he was born. Yes, I was only gone for a couple of hours, but after that, I proceeded to shoot 14 weddings in 4 months. So I do remember having like I don't even know I don't even know what it was. I don't know if it was guilt or if it was just the fact that I was away from him for so long for like a full day. But I remember coming home from my weddings hurting, like obviously being so engorged because I was still
Mm-hmm.
breastfeeding.
Yeah.
I pumped in all of the venues around, but I was still breastfeeding. I remember coming home and like feeding him and doing that like late night feed and just like bawling, like just being so devastated that I just spent 10, 12 sometimes hours away from this sweet little baby. Um,
And postpartum hormones are not friendly to us in those times either.
no, exactly, right? And like, did I love going to work and shooting those weddings? Of course. I was 100% there, loving everything, but I think everything just kind of hit me as soon as I got home. It was like,
Mm.
oh my God, like, am I doing the right thing? All those questions just kind of like run through your mind and like, I don't know, bottle up, I guess. But I also had these weddings booked before I even knew that I was pregnant. So
Yeah.
like there was like that kind of
Obligation.
obligation
Mm-hmm.
to be there. And I mean, looking back on that time, I'm like, that was literally, if I look at that in this sense of being, I was gone for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, full days. I was gone from my like sweet little tiny baby. So there's definitely some guilt around that for me, for sure. And just I feel like I do have a good work-life balance now. I feel like I can separate things a lot more. I've put a lot of boundaries around my work. I'm not hurried to like answer every single inquiry like the minute it comes through like I
Mm.
used to be. It's like no, it'll wait, and
Boundaries. Yeah. Yeah.
they'll be there. Be
Mm-hmm.
there. But yeah, I feel like a lot of women do feel that guilt. And understandably so. Society wants us to work because we don't have a choice,
Yeah.
and then also be the person who takes care of the kids. So how would we not have guilt around having to work
And
and
also
not being able to?
daycare, like having to put them in daycare and stuff like that. How, like, he's a little bit older now, but like, how does your heart feel when you have to bring him to daycare?
Oh my God, my heart is literally crushed every time he's upset when I leave.
Right.
So I actually was
And they're
just
fine
thinking,
5 minutes later, right?
oh, totally. Like,
Right.
she'll send me a picture and be like, he's great. He's happy as a clam, like, and I get it, but I think too, like, my little man he loves routine. He loves the same things. He loves to do. I think he will thrive once we actually put him into when he actually starts like full time.
Mm.
So he'll be going Monday to Friday in September, mid
Oh,
September. And right now he only goes 3 days a week. And they're kind of weird days. So we'll have like 3 days together and then he'll have to go to daycare. And I
mm.
feel like that's where it's like a little bit of a issue because he's like, well, no, like I, I still want to spend time with you. Whereas I think if we're going every day in kind of a more consistent way, hopefully it will be easier for him. It won't be easy for me. I hate
No.
dropping him off. I don't like it.
Mm.
But I also have to work and have to make time for me because that's just how it is. Like
Yeah.
I have to do those things, right?
The little
So,
years are so hard with stuff like that because their emotions are, I feel like they're still they're parts of us, right? So, like my middle child, same thing. She was the only one of my kids that went into a daycare. My oldest, my mom helped watch, and then my youngest, Corey and I kind of balanced that time off here and there, and that's why I'm not in a corporate job anymore. But with
right.
my middle one, she was in a daycare setting, and every single morning she would cry and hang on to me, and they basically had to pry her. And I think of
Yeah.
all the trauma work that I do now, the stuff that I had put her through, putting her through that. But then same thing, I would get the call at work. Hey, I just wanted to call and let you know she's okay. She's
Yeah.
happy. She's doing this or that. Sometimes they send a picture and it's like, that's great. But I just cried in my car for the last 20 minutes.
Oh yeah.
And for like, what am I doing? And, but then we have to do the things like we don't have a choice. The society, the economy, like everything that we are dealing with on a day to day, we as mothers feel forced into this position. And like so many new moms that I talk to, when they first have to go back to work after having their baby, like the ones that get the year or 18 months or whatever off, you have all this day to day time, quality time, bonding, and whatever. You're
Yeah.
exhausted from being a mom. You're exhausted from the day to day and diapers and throw ups and whatever. But when you get having to go back to work on a day to day, people are like, what can I do to not do this anymore?
Right. Yeah,
Unless
it's so
you
true.
love doing it, that's great. But a huge majority of mothers, I feel like around my age frame now, are just
Yes.
like, I would rather do anything than have to go and leave my kid for 8, 9, 10 hours a day.
Yeah. It's funny. I When we first started looking for daycare for my son, I we were going, we went to one place and I was like, she's great, but like I don't know if I'm ready. And Dave was like, well, like we don't have to put him in daycare. If you don't think that like you're ready, like we don't have to. And literally like something just like clicked in my head because I was like, he's right. Like I don't need to send him right now, but he had turned a year. We were just in that stage where every other mom was like going back to work. And that expectation of him needing that community, needing those little like playmates and stuff like that, and just, getting out into the world, I thought in my head that's like what I needed to do.
A societal belief or something. Yeah.
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 And then I realized I've been working since the beginning. I'm not going back to work. I'm working. Like we've already been making this work for 12, 12, 13, 14 months at that point. So we actually didn't end up sending him until he was 17 months. And yeah, I just wasn't ready. I was like, you know what? I'm not ready. And I started feeling that guilt when we first started looking, like, and I wasn't really sure what it was. Literally until Dave was like, we don't have to send him right this second. And I was like, damn, he's right. Like, we don't have to. So we didn't end up sending him for a couple extra months. And then we ended up finding who we're with now, and we love her. And I am like literally gutted, devastated that we are leaving her. But again, it's what he needs, I think, in that Monday to Friday a little bit more just before we start like JK and stuff. So anyways, it'll be good.
Wild.
But it is wild. Like, it is wild, those like just expectations of other people, and then you feel guilty over that. Like, it's crazy to me. Anyways. Um I think too, also for me, in making the choice to send him, like, sometimes I feel guilty because like those household expectations, the laundry, the dishes, the all that stuff kind of gets pushed to the side because, little man and I are hanging out on his days when he's home, right? So, but then I don't feel guilty about spending time with him because obviously I want to do that, but I do sometimes feel guilty that like everything else gets pushed aside. So
There's a lot of
once
the pressures in the background. Yeah.
so once he starts full time, I feel like there'll be a little bit more like balance.
This is
Um,
me. The kids are going back to school in what, a week and a half, 2 weeks. So I'm like, this is where I go, okay, there's so many things on my list that I can do these things while they're at school. But I
yeah,
know that 6 hours that they're at school is like I come down here and I zone into something and then it's gone. And I'm like, oh, time to go pick them up.
absolutely, absolutely. It's like time just like absolutely flies by. I get that
Yeah.
100%. Um, and relying on help is another one that was super big, and we kind of already touched on that. But like, there's no need to feel guilty about asking for help. But I think as women, we're just trained to not ask for help,
Yeah.
right?
I struggle
And
with that for sure. Yeah.
yeah, and it's your baby.
Yeah.
So like, I remember when we were searching for daycare, like I kept saying to Dave, like, how do you trust somebody else? Like,
Ugh,
how do you trust a
so hard.
stranger
Mhm.
with your baby? Like, that's
And
where,
I'm Facebook FBI. So whenever I first started looking and somebody would be like, "Hey, like I do childcare," and then I'd be like, "Okay, let me just take a peek at their Facebook. Let me check out every profile they've had since 2007. Let me Oh,
and
they
you know what?
have a man living in the house. I have my own shit around that." So I'm like, "Nope, they have a son." It like this
Right.
the silliest things that are probably so minimal to somebody else. I
Yeah.
was like, no, 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 no. If
Yeah.
they aren't in a registered program, I can't do it.
Right. What solidified it with me is one of my really good friends. I've literally known him forever. He was like, "Oh, I know them. They're great people. We hang out all
Mm,
the time, blah blah." And I was like, "Sold."
yeah, that
Like,
helps.
we had already said yes because we had met with her, and like great vibes and all that stuff. But then there was that guilt there of, you don't know. You don't actually know who this person is. What am I doing? Am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right choice? All those things. And then he kind of was like, "Oh yeah, like they're great people, like what he does for work and all that stuff." Like, I was like, "Okay,
That was
yeah,
your sign. Yeah.
that was my sign to be like, yeah, we're good." And it's
Good.
been fabulous.
Good.
So, but now we're sending him to like a center, and I'm like, well, that's great that it's like, government that's got their hands in there, and like there's lots of rules and all those things.
Canada Food Guide and
Yeah, it is
yeah.
definitely different.
Hmm.
But there was less caution around that, which, thinking of it right now, I'm like, "Ooh, I kind of feel guilty that there's less caution around that. Should I be more cautious?" You know what I mean?
I
But
mean, be aware, but yeah.
yeah, it's one of those things where we could literally worry We already do, but like worry and just feel that guilt around so many things and just but it's
Overthink it. Yeah.
yeah, you have to overthink it. So you have to like choose, same way you choose your battles, you have to choose like, what I'm giving my energy to,
Hmm.
right? Like, is this making sense? So I think one other one that we should kind of touch on is that it was the last one on Miss ChatGPT's thing, but not enjoying every moment. Because I feel like especially nowadays with social media, everyone thinks that motherhood is just this like glorious thing. I think even before you're a mother, when you're pregnant, I think so many people are like, oh, being pregnant is just the most amazing thing ever. And then there are women who are like, are you fucking kidding me? This is not glorious. And then they feel guilty for not loving
Yeah. They don't
being
talk
pregnant.
about the days that you're crying on the bathroom floor with the door shut very quietly so that nobody hears you crying because you're not supposed to have emotions and feelings and
Right.
personal experiences.
And
Yeah.
you're supposed to love this, and it's supposed to be the most magical time of your life.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's sometimes not.
Yeah.
And I don't think we should hold on to guilt about that. If you didn't like being pregnant or, the newborn stage was the hardest for you, like, let that go. You're amazing. And not everything about pregnancy and motherhood is glorious. We don't
Right.
need to be grateful 24/7.
Yeah.
We
We're
can be
learning through the
grateful,
mess.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I think so. And
Yeah.
so I have been seeing this reel that's been circulating around. And it basically just says, we get so caught up in motherhood that we forget that we are, a 30 something
Oh, yeah.
mom just kind of living life for the first time. And
Yeah.
it's like, I feel like that's a great reminder that we need to just let go of the guilt surrounding everything that we just talked about and remind ourselves that, like, this is the first time we're doing this. Whether you have 3 kids, 5 kids, whatever,
Hmm.
you're still living this life and making these decisions for the very first time,
Yes.
right?
And one of the biggest things that I keep coming across in anytime I'm trying to learn something or I'm trying to figure something out, be compassionate, whatever else, I just keep having to ask myself, like, if this was a friend coming to me, my issue, what I'm so hard on myself for, right? If I'm like, oh, I'm spending too much time working, I'm spending too much time doing this. If that was a friend coming to me and saying that this is their problem, like, how would I respond to them? So you have to respond to yourself as if you're a friend or a child, right? If you need to
Yeah.
break it down for even more compassion. And I feel like that kind of helps answer some of the questions sometimes when you're having a hard time, but it's reminding yourself to do those things for
Yeah.
yourself, right?
Yeah. Changing that narrative in your head. Like, oh, I feel guilty. Oh, I feel guilty. It's like, okay, but no, like, what do you get to choose to do to change that?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So one thing that I would ask you is, have you noticed any patterns in where guilt shows up for you the most, like around work, self-care, food choices, discipline? And then how do you respond to those feelings when you're having those guilty feelings?
Yeah, so I think that one that really shows up for me is losing my patience. So losing my patience when really, like, I still have lots of patience left. I just don't show it that way. Or when I'm like, okay, buddy, like, hurry up, let's go, let's go. And it's like, where the fuck are we going in such a rush? Like, we're not going anywhere. We're literally going for an adventure, and I am hurrying him and hustling him
Mm-hmm.
along. Like, for what? Like, why am I rushing this child who's literally just, wants to play with his trucks for an extra 5 minutes? So, but losing my patience is something that I'm definitely trying to work on. But, regulating my emotions with his emotions, I feel like we just left the stage of, the 2-year-old and being in a constant state of like they don't understand why you're asking them to do things. So it's very hard to explain because I'm losing my patience because he's not understanding that like we need to leave right now. Like the store is closing or whatever it may be,
Mm-hmm.
right? And now we're in that 3-year-old stage, which we literally just entered. So I know it's going to be a while, but now we're getting the pushback. So like, okay, it's time to get your PJs on or get dressed for the day.
That doesn't end. That
I
doesn't
know,
stop.
you know, but
It just
but I
starts at
get
3.
frustrated quickly when we're not understand or he is understanding. He's just pressing those boundaries of being like, well, I can say no and run away, and it's a game now, and she has to catch me.
But it's good that you recognize that that's something that you feel that you need to work on for yourself, because it will get easier for you because you're actually taking on that thing that you notice about yourself.
Right. And I do try really hard to like, you know, once we've calmed down, try and apologize and just explain like, mommy was trying to get you dressed and you're running away from me and mommy got frustrated, that kind of stuff, just to kind of like, I don't know if he really gets that
No,
part of it,
it's so good. It's so good to
but
explain. Yep.
it's, it's something that like, I feel like it's really important to kind of like talk it out afterwards because,
Mhm.
and realistically, like, it's crazy that I'm losing my patience over, you not wanting to get in clothes. But it happens. And, sometimes it's just like, oh my God, we just need to leave and you need to get dressed. And like, this is how it needs to be,
Mhm.
But I think, yeah, just taking that moment of like trying to explain, like, this is why I got frustrated, or, when mommy says it's time to leave from the park, like, we have to go. And I really do try and set those expectations before,
Mhm.
even though he is 3 and he's like, okay, well, whatever. Like, after we play for 10 minutes or whatever, trying to
Just
set
a
like a
redirection.
timer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
redirection, and be like, oh, okay, although we have to leave the park, we get to go home and do this, right? Like it's the
right.
next exciting
Exactly.
thing.
The
But then they
next
haven't
exciting
expected,
thing.
yeah, then they're expecting to always have something exciting happening in the next step
Yeah.
of their day.
I know. But you
Then
know
we get to go
what?
home and have a
Good thing
nap.
is with
Yay.
a 3-year-old, little things can be exciting. So it's okay.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I find that we're constantly working on ourselves as mothers. And I don't know if that's just like, I think as human beings, honestly, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that's something that we shouldn't feel guilty about. And guilt is such like a, oh gosh, it feels like such a cliche thing because we're going to feel guilt no matter what we're doing at all times. We have no control over 90% of what is happening in our day, but we still feel guilt over it.
Yeah.
That self-care when we leave our kids to go and do something for ourselves. Like my guiltiest feelings throughout my whole motherhood journey was taking that time to like just go out with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like a party girl. Like that wasn't my thing. Once I became a mom, I was like, okay, time to settle down. My goal was like I wanted to get married, and like I started my family with the one, and then I just wanted to have more kids, and you know, that was my outlook. I was raised on limiting beliefs that you grow up, you find a man, you get married, you buy a house, then you have a family.
Right.
Switched a little bit in my um timeline because I had the guy, we had 2 kids, and then finally we got married, and I'm glad I stuck around because then we had a third. It was like there was like a waiting game, and there was just like I had to learn that not everybody is on the same timeline in life.
Right.
And I'm
Yeah.
glad I figured that out. But there's so many beliefs that we're made to feel, and guilt comes along that with that. And I feel like a lot of the older generation, not necessarily our parents, but maybe their parents or in between there's a lot of like expectations put on us by these older generations when we're younger to make us feel like we're supposed to be this superwoman. Like
Yeah.
you cook the most amazing home cooked meals, your house is immaculate and clean, like all of these crazy expectations. And that's not me. Like when Corey and I started dating, I was like, I don't cook. Like my mom cooked for me all my life and spoiled me that I don't know what the hell I'm doing in the kitchen. I'm
Right.
okay. I got better with time, but there's it's not just in motherhood that we have that guilt. It's in relationships, friendships.
Yeah.
There's always going to be that pain and fear and worrying about everything.
Yeah. Absolutely. I
Just
agree.
learning how to get out of that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do some fun rapid fire questions about guilt, but not in a mom guilt kind of way. This is a more fun, free, whatever, carefree kind of
Okay.
thing. Which gives you more guilt? Eating the last snack in the house or hiding it from your kid?
Um, yeah, I don't have guilt about eating the last snack, so probably hiding it.
Yeah, I don't have guilt around food at all.
No, me neither.
Not when it comes to
It's mine
me.
now. Yeah,
Yeah.
mine now.
Have you ever pretended to be asleep so someone else has to get the baby when they wake up?
I mean, not really, but also like Dave leaves
Maybe.
so early,
Oh.
so like he was like gone, so it was like,
Uh,
oh, it's just me. I'm the only one here. I'm the only one here. I got it.
I feel
But
like
in
I've
the
definitely
morning, for
tried.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if he's home, I'm like, mm-mm, I'm staying right here. You go.
Yeah. I think I definitely had tried. Corey was not he was not the type to get up in the middle of the night to change the baby or feed the baby. Like
Right.
he worked so hard all the time that he was just like he would, if anything, have the more of like the frustration of like, I need to sleep. He would either
Yeah.
go to another room or do something else. Like
Figure it
when I
out
look
somewhere else.
when I look back on it, I probably would not have handled it the same way that I handled it back then. Whereas like I was more hurt and upset and
Yeah.
whatever else. Whereas now I'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? Like this is your job too. But yeah,
Yeah.
different people we are now.
Right.
Um, More guilt inducing screen time marathons or skipping story time. Like he probably
Oh,
doesn't have too much screen time anyways, probably, or give or
I
take.
definitely had tons of guilt over screen time last year when I had a broken foot because that
Mm.
was literally all we were doing because I had to wait for Dave to get home before I could even take him outside because he would just run and 2-year-olds don't understand dangers.
Nope.
Um, and then, but I do definitely feel guilty sometimes if we like miss story time. If we're out and about and we just kind of come home and he like goes to bed. Honestly, most nights I'll even try and still read like one story.
I love that. The
Just
fact that
to,
you even like make the effort to read to your kid because
yeah,
I
we
was so
read
good with
every night.
yeah, I was so good with my oldest, read to him all the time. And although like he's not a big reader now, like he doesn't love to read, but he can read and he can read quickly and he can do all the things, but it's not his
Right.
favorite. Middle child loves to read. She's my little book nerd who will
Love
like pick up a book and just go in the car and read. And my youngest, who got the least of the story time, right? Because I was like, the older kids will read to her, it's fine.
it.
um, she also enjoys reading. She's good with it and whatever. And I don't know if that's a genetic thing because I love to or not, but I think a lot of it comes from story time, from having that routine of reading to them every night before bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Okay, I was like, that does not apply, which makes you feel guilty or feeding them nuggets again or forgetting picture day. But I don't think that really applies. Have you ever bought yourself a treat and told the kids it was spicy so they wouldn't ask?
Always.
Yeah, definitely
Oh, it's
pop.
too spicy, bud.
Yeah, like my older two don't drink pop at all because I raised them on it's too spicy. We can't drink that, whatever. And my youngest was like, spicy. Let me try that.
Did not work.
But I also
Uh,
craved a lot of spicy food when I was pregnant with her. So like that could make sense.
maybe. Maybe.
Guiltier moment, hiding in the bathroom for peace or saying just one more minute for the 10th time.
Oh, just one more minute for the
Mhm.
10th time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with
I say that a
working
lot.
from home, I feel like that's a natural reaction. Yeah, 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 I'm almost done.
Yeah. I feel like too, like in the morning. I feel like it's more so in the morning because like
Mm.
I try and do so much at night after he goes to sleep that I'm tired when he gets up at 6:30 in the morning and I'm
Mhm.
not ready to go downstairs and he says, "Can we go downstairs?" I'm like, "Just one more minute, buddy. Just one more minute."
15-minute snooze button.
Yeah, 15 minutes later we go downstairs.
What makes you spiral faster? Missing an event or forgetting to sign? Oh, that's school stuff. I guess missing an event or forgetting something important.
Um Obviously forgetting something important, especially if it comes to my business. I spiral, I panic really quick. But I also hate to be late. So if I'm not 10 minutes early, we're late.
Yeah.
And Dave is if we're not right on time, like he thinks we're early. If this event is at 9 and we get there at 9:05, he thinks we're like right on time, and I'm panicking. Like we're not on time. We're so late. So
So he
I
was
think
sent
that
here to
makes
test you.
yeah, I think that makes me spiral more. And it definitely comes from my parents. We were never on time for anything. When I
Yeah.
first started driving myself to family events, people would be like, "Oh, where's your mom and dad?" And I'm like, "Don't know, not my problem. I am on time. You
Yeah.
told me to be here at 2. I am here. It is now 2 o'clock. They will be late." I honestly feel like my need for being on time and everything like that definitely stems from them. My dad would get in the car and immediately get out and have to go and get something that he forgot in the house, like every time without fail.
Yeah.
So
You're
I feel
sitting in
like,
the back seat like, oh my God.
let's just go, let's just go.
Yeah.
Because he's the one who's inside being like, okay, is everybody ready? Like, let's go. We gotta go. We gotta go. And then we get in the car and he's got to get out and get something else. So
Oh gosh.
it has served me well as a
Yeah.
business owner to be on time, to be early.
Good.
So it's fine. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, Dave and I, it took us a little while to figure that one out.
In my house, we call that island time, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
my mother, we were always on island time. We would get there when we get there, very max relaxed.
Yes.
I have two older brothers. My one closest to me, he is a turtle. So he's the slowest. He's always like he'll come late, but he just stays forever. Like he's just so
Right.
relaxed when he gets there. No care in the world,
I love
but
it.
God love him for it. It's just who he is. Um, do you ever feel secretly guilty, I guess, or relieved when it comes to bedtime?
Oh, always relieved.
Yeah.
You see those reels where it's like, I love you, I would die for you, but please can you just go to bed so I don't have to talk to you anymore?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's
Right?
like, oh yeah. Yeah, because some days it's just a lot. And like, yeah, it's a lot for sure.
Yeah.
My little one's
I
very chatty too. So sometimes it's like, okay,
yeah.
we're done.
I don't know. I don't know if there's any guilt around bedtime for me because they don't really go to bed very well. We were never good at like bedtime routines and all that stuff.
Right.
So my kids still don't have great routines to go to bed at night. And like, I'm okay with that. Like, I have no shame around it because every
Right.
family is different. Every house is different. We all do things
Yeah.
differently. Um, but yeah, no guilt there. Just, fall asleep and it's every 5 minutes somebody needs a drink or bathroom or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so on that note, I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
And I think this was a good conversation, definitely necessary.
So if you're feeling guilty, just let it go. We've all been there for
Yeah.
sure. I love
Yeah.
that. Okay.
All right. Thanks for listening. We'll check you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Mother Overload podcast. This is a real talk space where two moms come together to unpack the beautiful chaos of motherhood. We're not experts. We're in it with you. This is a space for overwhelmed, overcaffeinated, heart wide open moms who need to know they're not alone.